who can receive the Canadian healthcare system here in Canada for free. Good morning. First of all citizens of Canada can receive the Canadian free healthcare system here. Also all permanent residents, such as myself. If you're a foreigner, you come to Canada, you go through the whole process of visas until you receive finally the right visa. How about people on work visas? With work visas, only a few people in some designated working areas can actually receive free healthcare. You have to apply for it and you have to find which specifically applies to you, which group it is. Also international students, not all again, also for both it is only limited, meaning it's not the whole scope. All the things that I receive, you might not be able to receive, or probably. You have to really look after this, because most people actually do not apply for free healthcare. You maybe are only applicable for emergency healthcare, and maybe not even this. You will receive it, but you have to pay back for it later on. So be careful of this. Also very important, visas change. With visas, also the applications for healthcare change, and change all the time. So this year you might receive it, but next year suddenly you don't receive it anymore. You still live in Canada, you are still working here, but now suddenly you don't receive the free healthcare system anymore. Then you have to pay for it. It's not very expensive as it is in other countries, but you still then have to pay it out of your own pocket. Be mindful of that. And how about refugees? Do they receive free healthcare here in Canada? Yes and no. Here's the thing. If you are a refugee from a country, you need to be recognized by the Canadian government as a specific refugee. It depends on the situation of your country, of your religion and such. Many factors, and you have to look really into it. But if you are recognized, then you receive a limited emergency access. So this will be the essential healthcare systems. That can be really, for example, if you need emergency, maybe surgery, something that is really life-threatening or something, but you always have to check first with the Canadian government, because even if it is maybe necessary, the government might not provide it. Also, not all provinces have the same access to the machines and such. Here in my province, in my city of Saskatoon, we do not cover all the things. For example, for cancer treatment and such, you would have to go to our capital or close to capital, Toronto, or biggest city, or Vancouver, to receive the treatment there. And this might not be covered. So maybe the treatment itself would be covered, but you have to travel there yourself, pay hotel and food and everything yourself. My father was in this situation, even though he's permanent resident, he had to pay the hotel and everything else from himself. What happens if you are unemployed? Do you lose the healthcare system here in Canada like it is in some other countries? No, you do not lose your Canadian healthcare system. It is always with you. Once you're a citizen or PR, you will always keep it, no matter what. So, what is if you are committing a criminal act, a felony, or maybe even go to jail? You still receive Canadian healthcare benefits. However, if you are permanent resident, you might lose your permanent residency. And here it comes full circle. So how can you lose your healthcare system? You can actually lose it. So as I just mentioned, the one thing that could happen is if you lose your permanent residency, or you lose your Canadian citizenship, which you cannot lose unless you yourself do not want it anymore and you apply for it. This is the only way to lose a Canadian citizenship. Also, if you are outside of Canada for over 6 months or 6 months, you have to be 6 months plus 1 day in Canada to still receive the healthcare. If you're longer than 6 months out of Canada, you're coming back, you have to pay for your healthcare system. I don't agree with this. I think it is not a good idea, but it is right now the case, and it has been for many years. Maybe it changes in a few years, probably not. So be aware of it. If you are especially from another country or you need to travel there for a sick family member or something like this, if you are longer there than 6 months, you lose your healthcare system. You have to, I'm not sure how, apply next year, or it will be automatically again, and you have to spend 6 months again in Canada, and then it's automatically there. So be really aware of it, because if you suddenly have then health issues, or if you are coming from abroad with some health issues and you want a better treatment here in Canada to be safe, but you have been away for over 6 months. I'm sorry, you have to pay everything else. You can explain, sorry, I had good reason. And sometimes there are exemptions. But even if you apply, for the exemptions, there's a list. I don't know where to find it. You have to really search for it, and it changes. So even if you're applicable for it and you apply, the Canadian government can still say, sorry, no, you have to pay it yourself. Be really mindful of that. Just yesterday I made a video about many things what the Canadian benefit plans cover. I will link the video right here and at the end, and have a look at it. The Canadian healthcare system is really amazing. I'm very, very grateful to Canada and to the system and to every person that helped me. I've been sick for over 2 years, and really my life depended on the system, and this is what I'm so amazingly grateful that I'm here in Canada and received all this help, and I want always to give back. Thank you everyone for watching this video. Do stay safe, do stay healthy, it is very important, and I hope I see you in the next one. Have a great day.